Hello everyone. I will be reviewing and tasting tonight Milam and Green Volume 1. Now the way I got to the point of selecting this particular bottle is I used my app. So I created a web application to keep track of all of our collection. Previously we were doing that in a couple of different ways. The first one, the main one, was just a simple spreadsheet. That way we could actually share it with people, and then they could look at it and use it. But I wanted to do a little bit more. I also wanted to play around with Claude and their coding features. So what I did was I sat down and I gave it a bunch of parameters. I gave it the spreadsheet. It came back with a few things, and I said, let's go this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, and we kind of went back and forth, build after build after build. And what started out was just, here's the spreadsheet, duplicate it, to kind of a full-blown inventory, searching, scan the barcode, create recording of tastings, which is what we're going to be doing tonight, sharing the collection with others, creating groups, allowing a group to see a collection, allowing those group members to see other people's collections, and also allow that group to create a meeting date. So the other thing I did in here was a what should I drink next, or a suggestion function. So what it did was I clicked the button and it said plug in it basically asked me what were you what did you have in mind for tonight's pour. So things like type, bourbon, scotch, tequila, whatever, the minimum proof, the maximum proof, whether it's a single barrel, whether it's cask strength, and what it is finished in. So in this case I just said give me a bourbon, go, and it said Milam and Green. So now that I found the bottle which was under here, I am now going to hit the button that says pour it. So start tasting. And now what it does, and I'll show some of these screenshots on the screen, it will present basically our tasting form. So first thing it says is the nose, and then the palate, and then the finish, and those are just free-form text. Then below that is the flavor profile from 0 to 5. Dark fruit, citrus fruit, floral, spice, herbal, malt, toffee, woody, tannic, char, sweet. And the next section is the structure and experience. Bold, legs, balance, linger, heat. And then it goes to clarity and color and the overall rating. And then I can save it. So now that we've gotten this, I'm going to go ahead and pour it. It's always interesting, the stuff in the bottom. I anticipate there being, char, but sometimes there's, which would be black flecks, but sometimes there's, like dissolved sugar, or undissolved sugar. It's just kind of a white, at least that's what this one was. Ta-da! So I'm going to leave a little bit of a pour. Maybe a little bit more. Ta-da. Ta-da. So, yeah, this one comes in at 59. Looks like 59151, and then a point. So I'm assuming it's 59 point something proof. So almost 120 proof-ish. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, and it's not listed this way, but I may change it up. Because normally the first thing we do is go through the color, which is on my program the last thing. But I was using someone else's template and they had it last, so I may change it up. But it's kind of I wanted to say straw, but so my choices are mahogany, caramel, amber, gold, honey, straw, and clear. I'm going to say it's honey-ish. So I move this slider up to honey. Now the only thing about the way this slider works is it's backwards. So it goes mahogany to clear, so 1 through 7, but as you go up, the words highlight. So when you stop, you don't stop next to the word. So I got to change that. Now the clarity does work that way. So the clarity, it's clear. So I'm going to say medium. Now, bold and legs. I'm not quite sure exactly what bold is, but I know what legs are. Now in this glass, it's got some heavy legs. I mean, it's still stuck up here. So they're thick legs. So the legs on this is going to be all the way over to 5. All right, so now the nose. I'm really only going to work on this nostril because this one's pretty clogged. The Canadian wildfire smoke has been coming in, so I've been sneezing most of the week. It's definitely sweet. I'm getting some dark fruit notes. It's a little bright. So we're going to say bright, not brought, brute, B-R-I-G-H-T. So bright, is that how I spell bright? Maybe I should put a spell checker in here. Bright, light, dark fruit. Yeah, definitely, I don't want to say citrusy, but it's got definitely a fruity note. So dark fruit, I'm going to say fruity. Change this up. Alright, there we go. Instead of dark fruit, I'm going to say fruity. Alright. I want to go for the palette. Ooh. First sip of the day. So that proof hits me. But it's definitely fruity. Strong, I mean bold. I'm using Dawn's iPad, so even though it has a little keyboard, I've got to move around on the screen. I probably should use this pencil. This electric one. If I turn it on, oh, I'm writing on the screen. That's interesting. Backspace. Comma. Oh. Alright, I'll use this side. Alright, fruity, strong, bold. Going in for that second sip. Yeah, that second sip, I would almost characterize that as being light. But still sweet. So add that, not sweetie, sweet. Fruity, strong, bold. I don't know about that bold part. Now the finish, it's that Kentucky hug. So I'm actually going to go over and jump to the finish side and say long and hot. But there is that note in there that I'm not quite sure what on the finish. It's a little bitter, maybe. All right, going back. So Milam and Green is one of Dawn's favorites, and we had met the I think the Milam person. They're two females. One's the distiller, one's the owner, and I think Milam is the person who distills. Let's see if it says. And I did not do any of my homework before this. I just hit the button and let it go. So Heather, let's see. Okay, so Heather Green is the owner, who also wrote some books. So that means Green, or Milam, is the distiller. Oh, here it is. Heather Green is a celebrated whiskey expert and master blender at Milam and Green. So, well, they never say who Milam is. That's interesting. Why would you not do that? Well, all right. Talked about two other people, but yeah, the unabridged moniker is a throwback to her writing books. So, like unabridged books. All right, we're going to go in for another taste. Yeah, definitely fruity. Fruity, light, bright, but I'm going to take that bold out because I'm going to put in light, but I'm also going to put hot. And again, I'm probably picking that hotness up from the proof. So finish, again, long finish. But I'm going to throw in a little bit of a bitterness. Kind of like a dark chocolate type. Alright, so that's that. Now, flavor profile. Dark fruit. Citrus fruit. I'm going to give it for the dark fruit, I'm going to give it a 2. Citrus fruit, I'm going to give it a 2. Floral, I'm not going to say, I'm going to give it, I'm going to give it a 1 for floralness. Spice, a 1. Herbal, that might get up there to a 2. Malt's going to be 0. Toffee, man, I don't get a toffee note. Now, so I'm going to leave that at 0. Woody, I'm going to give it just a 1 for woodiness. And I'm going to give that tannic a 1. Char, sweet, I'm going to bring that up to 3. So that's those notes. Bold, man, I'm going to jump that back. I'm going to give it a bold note just because of that first initial impact. Balance, I think it's well balanced. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Linger, it lingers on, so I'm going to definitely give that a 5. Heat, I'm going to give comes back. I'm going to give that a 3. Here goes the last taste. Yeah. Clarity, I already got that. Caramel. So I'm going to give this overall rating. I'm going to give it a good 7 out of 10. Then we'll hit save. And if all goes well, it worked. So, yeah, Milam Green, Abridged Volume 1. Yeah. Now the one thing I realized I have to do, one more feature I have to add to this application, and I thought of that this morning because I was going to send it to somebody to review it, put it through its paces. But who I was going to send it to, Wayne and Rebecca of It's Your Bourbon Journey. There's 2 of them, and I realized they're both going to review it, and my application only allows one person to review for a collection per login. So what I need to do is have it allow a collection to be owned by more than one person. So that way Dawn can rate this on her own, have her own sheet here, have her own sheet here, filling it out, and then save it. Now, I'm thinking it'll be saved to her login, but her login is tied to this collection so that when either one of us brings up this bottle, we'll see both of our reviews. So what if we have a guest? So like if my nephew Mitchell comes up and he tries this, he can log in. He doesn't own it, so it's not in his collection. But he has a review of that. So don't know how that will work. We will have to think that one through from a programming point of view, and also from just a procedural standpoint is how best that could work, or how it really should work. It doesn't matter how best it works. The computer is going to do the work, so we don't have to make it easy on it. We just need it to be correct for the human. But anyway, all right. So now I have to actually take a picture of this, and might as well do that right now. So it's kind of a big camera, but edit. We're going to come down all the way to the bottom. We're going to say take photo, and we're going to come to here, get in close, take that picture, say use photo, and then scroll down and say save. And now it shows a picture of it. One thing I did note is if I use my cell phone, that saves the image as a high efficiency file on HEIC, then this bombs. So not only does it not save the picture, it wipes out anything that you've entered. So you have to save it to a JPEG first. Now this iPad saves it as a JPEG, so we're good there. So all right, so now under my thing, if I go to sharing, or not sharing, but my tastings, now my tastings only have 3. I have Iron Root, Rare Perfection, 10-year, and Milam and Green Volume 1. So I click on that, and then I see everything there, full profile, and then it gives me my scores on everything. So, yeah. Go back to collection. Anyway, that is our Milam and Green Unabridged Volume 1 review and an introduction to our web application, our Whiskey app. I don't have a better name for it yet, but we'll work on that. Anyway, till next time, I will see you later.